Mr. Pandaria is coming. That's right, we are getting MoP Classic and it's in the near distant future. What do I mean by that? Cataclysm Classic is now going into Fireland, and then it's going to be the Dragon Soul and all of that shebang. But right after that, we go directly into MoP Classic, and this isn't me pulling smoke out my ass. We know it's coming for sure. They have already so far data mined 2 new Shah themed mounts, which is pretty cool. They look amazing. You have the retail player base already demanding that these mounts get added to retail, but we'll cover that more in a bit, as well as the mysterious Mr. Pandaria survey. Now, I partook in this survey, but I'm not leaking my own things. I'm gonna take what other people have leaked online and talk about that. Mainly because you have to sign an NDA. Well, it's not really an NDA. You gotta click do not share information about the survey. And I like to be a good boy, but other people have not been so. So let's just dive right into it. MoP Classic is coming. It may not be what you think you want. It may not be the best version of Classic, and heck, it may not even be Classic. But MoP Classic is coming, and a lot of people are going to enjoy it. Now, everyone's idea of Classic is a completely different thing. Some people consider Classic to be just vanilla, some consider it to be the original trilogy, and for most people it's essentially when they started, the expansion that let them get into the game for the first time. There's going to be a generation of players where Warlords, Legion, BFA and Shadowlands are considered classic. Because think about it, there are kids playing WoW now who started around those times. And in 10 years, they're going to be adults reminiscing about the classic good old days, which was BFA. It is what it is. But let's discuss MoP Classic for a little bit and the themes and thematics that make MoP Classic a kind of iconic experience. Now, Mr. Pandaria Classic as an expansion it's fun. It has a lot of things going for it. It has some of the best raids ever made. Throne of Thunder is considered peak by many people, and Siege of Orgrimmar is just as amazing, but it lasted way too fucking long. 13 months? Jesus Christ. When you consider that MoP had so many good themes, from your little farm, which a lot of people loved, to the dungeons, to the raid, to the world experience itself, it was top tier. Now, MoP does have one downside: pandas. The whole point of MoP is Pandaria, the Mogu, the Shah, Garrett at the end of it as the ultimate climax. But a lot of people seem to consider pandas to be kind of a sub-tier or a low-tier seam of content. They don't seem to like it. They think it's shitty, they think it's bad, and they think it's a joke from Warcraft 3 taken too far. And honestly, I can understand it. I don't agree. I think Mr. Pandaria is an amazing expansion. I am not too personally hyped to be playing it myself. I will play it, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to play the raids, much more than Cataclysm, to be honest. And there's nothing wrong with Cataclysm, but Cataclysm is Cataclysm and MoP is MoP, and I think MoP is a better experience, at least in regards to PvP as a whole, because the PvP scene in Mr. Pandaria is absolutely top tier. It had some of the best PvP to ever grace World of Warcraft's history. But now that we've discussed whether or not MoP is classic, and it is at this point in time classic, whether we like it or not, MoP Classic is classic. What does that mean for the player base as a whole? Now, for the classic ecosystem, it doesn't really mean much. We essentially already at this point know that they're going to go into MoP, and if they do MoP and MoP is successful just like Cataclysm was, they're going to do Warlords, and then Warlords will probably get shortened down to 12 months, heck, maybe even 14 months, and then it'll be a very fast expansion straight into Legion, then Legion into whatnot. So that cycle is continuing. The classic progression servers are going to keep progressing and they're going to keep going. Will they go all the way up to Shadowlands, BFA? Will we get to War within 10 years again? Probably. But again, we will have to wait and see what happens. For the rest of the Classic, the dev time and resources going into this shouldn't impact the rest of the Classic player base too much. I can't say that confidently, because we did see what happened with Phase 3 and SOD, as well as Cataclysm having, the experiences at launch of it. So we have to take everything with a grain of salt and hope for the best, and hope that the Mr. Pandaria launch and future version of the Classic and Classic Plus and whatnot don't interfere with each other. But now let's deep dive into how we know for sure that MoP Classic is real and it's coming. Now at the beginning, I talked about the 2 mounts data mined in Cataclysm's PTR, and those are the Shah Tiger and the Shah Cloud Serpent. And these 2 mounts look amazing, top tier, phenomenal. And they're very likely going to be the exact same as the Cataclysm launch bundle, where you got the Firelands mount and you got the high definition version in retail, little gimmicky toys and things of that nature. You just spend $40 or $60 or whatever the package is, maybe even $100 for the deluxe edition. You buy it, you get your stuff, and you go into Pandaria. That's realistically what it is. Are they adding new cosmetics to grind in game? No. Are they adding new mounts to farm in game? No. You can buy them though. And it is what it is. It's just the modern gameplay, the modern systems, the store mount, the things you can buy, faction transfer, race transfer, things of that nature. At this point in time, they're essentially second nature to a lot of players, and so we're likely going to get this shit. But just these two mounts alone aren't really enough to confirm MoP Classic, and despite them being very strong evidence that they are for MoP Classic, because the Shah stuff comes from Mr. Pandaria, we also have the survey. And that's right, this survey went around a couple weeks ago, if not a month or so ago. People that answered it had many questions talking about MoP Classic and Cataclysm and the future and what they wanted to see and how excited they were, would they play it, things of that nature. Now again, I partook in the survey, but I'm not going to leak or show what I did in my survey, but other people did theirs online publicly. And essentially, for the most part, this survey just essentially stated, will you play MoP Classic? And I don't know what most people responded. I don't know how many people got the survey. I don't know how far-reaching and widespread the survey was. All I do know is, even if every single person, and that's very likely not going to happen or didn't happen, click no, I would not play MoP Classic, they are still going to finish MoP Classic because Cataclysm's numbers prove to them that the Classic player base will keep progressing up until when, we don't know, and neither do they. So we're gonna keep on going. You're likely going to see WoW Classic is going to be amazing within about 12 months of this video. Because realistically, WoW was an amazing expansion, it lasted way too long and had too little content to last that long. Now, I'm going to ask this to the people watching this video. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you excited for MoP Classic? Do you think it's going to be a fun game mode? Are you excited for the hype behind and around Mr. Pandaria? Because a lot of people seem to be lukewarm on the idea. Nobody seems to be hating the idea of MoP Classic. I personally think they should put all the effort and energy into Classic Plus, but I'm not against a MoP Classic. But a lot of people seem to be aghast at the idea of continuing down this horrendous pathway. And I don't think it's that bad, honestly. Is it where the resources should be going? No. But it is what we are getting. So let me know in the comments. Are you excited? Just curious to hear what people think about MoP Classic overall. Now, I do have to add one final thing to this video, and that is MoP Remix, which just happened recently. And MoP Remix was a massive hit. We saw how fun it was, how well played it was, how much energy people put into MoP Classic, well, MoP Remix in this instance, and it was cataclysmic. People loved the grind, the cosmetics they could earn, just everything. It had so much playtime, and heck, even I, the biggest Classic Andy on this planet, played this shit out of MoP Remix because it was good. MoP Remix was pretty recent, honestly. Even if Cataclysm lasts another 12 months, and I don't think it will, but say it does last 12 more months, that means MoP Classic was quite literally 14 months before MoP Classic. I think I said those two backwards. Even if Cataclysm had 14 months left, and that's pretty unrealistic, it's probably less than that, that would mean that between MoP Classic and MoP Remix was just 14 months. That is far too little time for the game to have been out of people's minds and to be refreshing and exciting. Now, I know, in MoP Remix, it was fast, it was fluid, you were strong, you could solo mythic raids once you had enough points. So I don't know if you actually could, but you probably could with 5 or 6 mythic raiders who had the gear and the points necessary. One second, I'm scratching my foot. Cut this out, don't put this foot part in the video. And so I do wonder if MoP Remix is going to have a negative impact on MoP Classic. Will the player numbers be so low because people just recently experienced MoP Remix that they don't go forward with Warlord Classic and BFA Classic? Because that could realistically happen. MoP Classic may potentially be the last version of the Classic progression servers as we know it. It's not to say they won't restart things and go from vanilla to MoP again all over again repeating, but we'll see what they end up doing on that front. We have Warcraft Direct coming soon, and we're going to learn way more things at Warcraft Direct, and they probably will confirm Mr. Pandaria Classic at Warcraft Direct as well. Will there be any other announcements of the Classic player base? Probably not, but that doesn't matter because this video is about MoP Classic and how hype it is, and honestly, it's going to be a pretty amazing experience. It's going to be very fun. It's going to be intuitive. Is it what the Classic player base wants? Debatable. Is it going to be fun? Abso-fucking-lutely. So, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you hated it and think I'm full of shit and completely wrong, still subscribe. I hate on every single video at the same time. Thank you all for watching. Ebonheart out. Peace.